Thanks, Acting Speaker. And I rise to speak on the report of the performance of the Victorian Integrity Agencies 2020-2021, focus on witness welfare. And I have been up on my feet previously earlier this year in regard to this report, along with the member from Albert Park, and I think the member for Point Cook was also up, who may be following me today. So I was very interested to read his comments from the previous Hansard. It was very helpful today. Clearly, the IOC committee are a very important committee, and I will say that I did chair the committee for around about 18 months in the 59th Parliament, along with the Deputy Chair, the member for Sandringham. And we had a very good committee and a very productive committee and a very cohesive committee. And I applaud all the members that were on that initial committee in the 59th Parliament for their efforts. I will go to the Secretariat also, and I know there's been some changes there, but I can't commend the Secretariat enough of the work that they do. And they make the committees work well, and they produce fantastic outcomes, and I've got to acknowledge Sean Coley as the committee manager and for the assistance that he gave myself and the Deputy Chair during our time, and obviously subsequent to that as the committee moved on. Dr Stephen James, Senior Research Officer, Tom Avala, Research Officer, Holly Brennan, Complaints and Research Assistant, Maria Marasco, Committee Administrative Officer, and Bernadette Pendergast, Committee Administrative Officer. The work that they do is amazing, and in my time, I just, as I say, just want to thank them for the efforts and assisting me. Clearly, some of the functions of the Integrity and Oversight Committee, and I'll read from the report itself, and their functions are to monitor and review the performance of the functions and exercise of the powers of the Information Commissioner, to consider and investigate complaints concerning the Information Commissioner and the operation of the Office of the Victorian Information Commissioner, to report to both Houses of Parliament on any matter requiring attention of the Parliament, the performance and functions that exercise the powers of the Information Commissioner, obviously the Independent Broad-Based Commission in regard to overseeing those roles also, and also the Victorian Ombudsman, but many, many functions. There are pages here, several pages, 3 pages of the functions that these committees have. Witness welfare is an important issue, and it was raised in my time as the chair of the committee, and some concerns that were raised about witness welfare. And I know that the Victorian Inspectorate did their own report on witness welfare and expressed some concerns. There's been 16 recommendations made in this report, and it goes to all of the agencies that are overseen by the IOC. And one of the recommendations in particular for IBAC was that the Victorian Government, following consultation with the Independent Broad-Based Anti-Corruption Commission, the Victorian Inspectorate and helplines providing telephone and online mental health crisis support services, seek to amend the IBAC Commission Act 2011 to permit a person who is subject to an IBAC confidentiality notice to disclose a restricted matter to a telephone or online helpline providing mental health crisis support services, and it goes on. Now, I don't know if anyone's been involved in cases under investigation where there have been witnesses and had to give evidence before a tribunal. It is very distressing and demanding, and it does play on people's minds in different ways. And I've had some involvement with that in my previous role as the Secretary of the Ambulance Union, where some of my members were investigated or asked to present to IBAC. I've seen the mental health concerns that that's caused, and it is important that we support witnesses when they're providing evidence to these investigatory bodies of the state. This is a good report. As I say, during my time, I had nothing but cohesion amongst the committee that we had. I commend the committee that's been subsequent to myself finishing up at the IOC, but it is a very good report, and I Oh, it might have gone downhill after me. But anyway, it continues and it will continue, and I know they've got a new chair now and a member for Brunswick. I commend the report.
The member